What's going on?
I I don't know where to start with you, Deborah, but
In the middle's fine, just anywhere.
well, my weird energetic experiences have been going really, really big. I was, and also the federal agency type stuff is huge right now, and so in my life, and I'm scared. I'm scared, and I need to put it all together because I'm going to trial on the DUI, and then and
When is your trial?
they're getting me a psych eval first. So they're getting me, they already have the order in to get a psych eval for me. And I'm like, bring it
Okay.
on, bring it on. I will take whatever,
Okay.
how many psych
All
evals
right.
you want me to. So
Okay. Okay.
we can coordinate. I mean, I would love to make sure you understand it all so that I can say what I need to do, say to them in a very clear and concise way so that I feel good about it and it makes sense to the doctor. You know what I mean? So because what I'm going through is real. So and I'll prove it. And I'm going to. So
Have you done your cycle eval
no.
yet, or is that something that who they schedule it with? Do you know?
He told me a couple days ago, but I can't remember. He said he put the order in. It's already in with a certain doctor or doctor's office. I'm not sure. And then they're gonna get with me to schedule it, or he'll let me know. I'm not quite sure.
Right. All right.
But um I have I, I don't know if I told you about the male energy that overtook me in May, no, in June.
For the male energy part, it could be that I just
The
forgot
sleep
that I told you.
paralysis. Okay.
Oh yes, I remember that part. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember the sleep paralysis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and that big man energy came and overtook me, and like I tried to figure out whose energy it was because I know energy very well and who's who. Um, I just actually had my client Roberta 2 days before I went to court with my attorney the third time, um, and I had things written on my hand of no, 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 this isn't okay. If I'm gonna, this is like something's going on, and I'm gonna, you know, you have to say go to trial, you know. And he's like, you're not gonna win. I'm like, I don't care. And I go, I want facts to be facts. Facts. I'm not arguing the alcohol level. Not even going to. Those are the facts. But I'm gonna bring some facts to the table that someone's messing with me. And this was back in September, October.
Okay.
Um, and I'm just shaking, you know. And he's like, he like went backwards, and he's like, really? And I'm like, we've talked about this, Vince, you know, because I just scheduled a call with him, and you know, I was very scary because I don't want to believe this that the government's in my life and doing like and helping me. I don't want to believe I'm important to the LDS church, but I can get a stake president to talk with you right now that can prove to you I've been pulled back. And he, I mean, he can't mix church and state right now, but like I went there smelling like alcohol, and I one time, it's my third time there, and so many weird things were happening energetically and in the federal realm that I'll tell you about in a second, that I was terrified. And I've been pulled, like, I was terrified to even step into the church, but I was like, it's somewhere I could at least feel safe because I feel scared. You know, I'm
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. It sounds really scary.
Christ, Yeshua, has been like, I don't count him as my savior. Like he's the end all be all who's gonna, you know, I can do it through him. No, I'm the only one making the better choices. I'm the only one trying to be better. I'm the only one going through the scary stuff and still trying to better myself. You know, I'm proud to have my job. My clients love me. My
No.
park loves me. Like they find me fabulous. I do my reports like I'm smart. I am a schizophrenic
No, you
for
are.
sure. I'll own being a schizophrenic. Yes, that's what this world calls it. But there is something more going on, and I can energetically prove that too. And I have so many videos, and I actually have my ex-husband now on board. I said, get with the program. I need help here because I've got to figure it out. And but I do it with him in a very weird way. My mind is working very differently at times.
Yeah, okay.
Um, it's a very, very weird thing I'm going through on a lot of different levels. However, what I saw and did back 2.5 years ago and was experiencing all the deja vu and the forward looking at how if Jason didn't believe me what I was going through and if I really did leave Idaho for Idaho and not come back to Utah, he would have to keep, if I was going to keep trusting what was going on, he would have to see it too, but I'd have to, I'm so glad I'm talking about this. He'd have to pull me back and I'd show him different signs of how to do that. And I have crazy emails, I have crazy videos of code, quote unquote, that I would send to him 2.5 years ago when it's so energetic between him and I. Um, and it's a very interesting story, and our whole life is an interesting story. I'm sorry I've been going off on a tangent, but it's really important to understand. I got to put it all together, and so that's one component of it.
So
So
that's a thing that we're doing right now is just sort of like getting it out there and putting it all together.
yeah, I know, and I love it. I needed you today. So
Yeah,
if we could, like,
so
key
when
points.
is your trial?
So I don't know yet, but there's more
Yeah.
to this story. Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
The whole federal story. So
Okay.
on, so someone, I was gonna have to, I had to move out of Karen's by 11/1, and I had gone to a Facebook to look for homes, even though I didn't know what I was going to do. Fatani was going to be my roommate, and so I reached out to this guy, and he said, "Yeah, go look at this house." And it was a very odd phone call, but I went and I looked. I had to pay 99 cents to get in to the house. I walked around, um, wanted to do it. This guy was very weird. He had the same accent. I have a lot of phone calls that are very scary to me and have been. I told you about those with the Sams and the different, and the one with Zell talking me out of paying my mom money. It was so weird. And I'm like, yeah, she's my mom. You can say, are you sure, Brooke? Are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, over and over to the point of I argued with her. By then I'm like, well, I'm not sure now. You've talked me out of it. It was so weird. Like things like that, that I get off the phone going, that was weird. But then later on going, no, that doesn't make any sense when, when I put it all together. However, it's hard to do that. This guy ended up, I told him I can't do it. Fatani ended up losing money, so I couldn't afford the house. I said, please go on. I was going through a rough spot with, there were so many things. You got to remember the Richard and going up, taking him to Ruby with the cops in front of me at an accident. That's very important. Can you write that down? That's important to my story. Yeah, that Richard cop Ruby story. That's very, very important to the cops coming into my life.
Story? Is that what I write?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, those three things, please. Thank you.
Okay, wait a minute. Cop story? What and what?
Richard.
Richard?
Uh-huh. Richard and cop Richard. Just say pickup or put outing. That'll make more sense.
Outing.
Okay.
Okay.
So on Chris, I'm just going to tell you the scariest parts, and then we can maybe fill in. But on Christmas, a couple days before Christmas, I got a text from a Universal app,
Okay.
and I need to actually bring it up. And I'm like, it said, "Thank you for subscribing to universal.et," or something like that, universalquotes.et. And then it sent a quote of, I need to bring it up. This, and I didn't think anything of it really, but I didn't subscribe to it. So it was weird, but fine, I guess. And oh, here we go. But then it started texting me really weird things. You know how I've always known, believed Agent J was in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've told you that I believe they've been with the COVID card, and with that they've been in different venue, like places, like stores and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And how Diane Countryman, with the COVID card that I was going to make for her, and then she said that because she said she was going to lose her job, and I was working with her all the time with this, right? And then but then when I handed it to her, and I already felt like I didn't know what her role was, but I didn't really think she was anything. But afterwards, but then when I handed, she wanted me to sign for the doctor, and that would then couldn't be traced back to me, because she couldn't have anybody else. If I signed for the doctor and I made it, then it would be completely just between her and I.
Okay.
And my stamp didn't work. I couldn't actually get the stamp to work. Otherwise, I would have given it to her. But I couldn't get it to work. And it was just one of those, old school stamps that you put the date on and stamp a thing.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get it to work. And it had to be perfect for her to actually have it work. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
let me do another one for you. Yes, I'll do that for you. I don't want you to lose your job. And it was such an empowering thing that I actually created this COVID card, because it gave me, like, I was terrified to even open my laptop before this card, just with all the trauma I had been through with the divorce and living in the campground, and the blowouts with my uncle right around my dad's year anniversary of his death. It was like, and my grandma was coming to me, all of these things I didn't know how to handle, and try and prove my ownership to this family in this campground, while nobody's doing the right things. They're not being kind, and they're not being business, and then they're not being good family. They're not being good business people, and keeping those separate. It always mix. I'm like, what does this have to do with work? So I just try and have those things fail when I'm actually very trying to be logical and not let emotions get in the way of thinking correctly and treating others right. And so that's just been because I've been I'm nervous. I've been on a path to teach my kids that I'm a good person, and I deserve to be in their life, and because of who I am and the character I have. You know what I mean?
Of
And so it's
course.
always family first. Yeah. And so,
and your kids know you're a good person.
well, that's a different story. Anyways, so this COVID card was really kind of this empowering thing for me as well. I had to remeasure things. I was terrified. I'd have these panic attack type things where I'd just be frozen, going, I don't know what's going on. My energetic world is, and everything that I saw, I made a plan before I left to keep following those. I said, okay, I need a Karen to come into my life and help me and she has to be, I like mapped things out so that I could keep trusting what was going on, and for them to keep happening was also it was very cool, but very weird in the same breath. So to see things and they happen, I've told you that happens pretty regularly on a daily basis. But for me to have things happen um, that I saw 2.5 years ago, that I said, okay, this is what I'm going to need. And I can see it visually to help me plan out how to get to the point to own how different I am. Hmm. And if Jason wasn't going to see, I got to prove it somehow. And I'll prove it just through living my life and getting people to
Okay.
be around me to um, be the witnesses of it. And I have those. I have plenty of, if I can get them to remember those things, because nobody deems them as important as, because they're not. They're important to me because of my story for my kids. So, anyways, that COVID card.
Okay. A COVID card.
When she said, well, she still owed me money. She owed me $10. I was sitting in her car with the COVID card, and I was just shaking. I mean, not because I didn't know what to do, but she felt good, and I wanted to help her, and I also wanted to have it was like a business. It was going to be a business, and I wanted to sell one, like make a product and sell it. There was that kind of concept going on in my head for my kids,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
so anyways, I bought a new stamp. Oh, we're in the car, and she's she owed me $10. She goes, oh, and I still owe you money. And she knew $10 because I didn't charge her very much, only like 35. She gave me a 20. And then I think I was only charged her 30. And then, yeah, so she owed me 10 more. And she handed me a crisp 5. And because she's like, oh, let me pay you. I'm like, no, it's okay. You can pay me when I send it. You've already paid me the 20. You can just pay me once you get it. Um, and she's like, no, let me pay you now. You know what they say about karma, don't you? And she looks at me, and then she pulls out a 5, hands me a 5, and I'm like, don't say anything, it's fine. I don't, it's fine, just take the 5 and just take it, and it's fine.
Instead of a 20.
Instead of a 10. Yeah, so she owed me 10, she handed me a 5. I'm thinking, all right, well, yeah. And then she's right after she says the karma thing, and I'm very energetic, so I love the keeping things in a better feeling space. And so I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, maybe I'll bring it up. And so I went inside. um that was also the day I got my car back from Kyle. He was just a friend then. And then he, like, literally an hour before. And then the next day I was able to take my daughter to the dentist. And so it was all very beautiful, it was all really great. And that's how I lived my life, on those like magic moments, to like, and trust, going, okay, you got this for me, help me figure out who can be in my life to help do this, So, you know, anyways, but I didn't end. I got a bad feeling when I got back. I actually had a good feeling to not give it to her and not sell it, And so it was just really a beautiful, and I've had those really beautiful, huge, huge, empowering, like synergetic moments of things like that. And so I was like, okay, all right. And then I had to talk myself into it. You've already done this. You have accomplished this. Blah 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 blah. Do you really want this on? Do you really want this part of it to be your kids, that you committed a felony? Is that really what you want this story to be? And that's something that I battled with for a while too. And so that was a lot of this, being scared of even doing it. But anyways, So a lot hinges around that, and then there's just more, and actually before that as well, because somebody else was, anyways. So let me talk to you about this Universal app,
Okay.
because this is what has had me so scared. It says, "Thank you, Brooke, for being a." I'm gonna have you look at it. Can you see it?
Can see it, yeah.
Thank
The
you, Brooke, for being
Universal
a
app.
member. Here's your daily quote, universe. That was Wednesday, Tuesday. Oh, it doesn't say. It was the day before. It was Tuesday before Christmas. 11:41. Then it sends me this: universe, universe, Universal Studios, universe, 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 Universal Almighty. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And this was on Christmas Day. And it was before, I think it was before I had these Christmas presents for my kids. I got them a blanket each. I got one for my son's fiance, and I made, and I did a card for each of them. And I didn't know if I was going to go in the middle of the night. I didn't know if I was going to go in the morning. I didn't know when I was going to drop these presents off, because they don't want to see me. They don't. They Three of them have texted me, please don't talk to me. So I know they love me, but it's getting that bad. And forever I've been trying to ask Jason, please figure this out with me, because this has been something and has a lot to do with you. And this was last year even. And so anyway, so it's been, and then I've let it go, and I'm like, okay, I'll just figure it out, I guess, and try and live a normal life, or not even try and figure it out, just accept what's going on. So I haven't even reached out to my kids in like since August. I haven't even attempted to see Alyssa for like a year. That's not me. That's not okay. But I'm not willing to go to them and go, yeah, this is what I believe. I have a government agency in my life. Here, don't think I'm crazy, because I don't think I am. But sure, I'll be crazy. But anyways, so I never want that conversation with them, because it'll have to, I have to move forward somehow.
Yeah, you do.
And anyways, go back to here. I said, and what's next? Because yeah, I get it. Universe karma. And I said, and come on, tell me. And then this says, the government is watching me behind my phone screen, and it's the aliens. And I totally believe in alien stuff going on here. And it's like, yeah, I know. Then it says, protecting the faith of the scum from the scum of the universe, Agent J. And I'm like, and my heart is, this happened right when I got home. So I just went, because I go with what pulls me, and I went, okay, now's the time, and I was meditating and just trying to get it, aligned with it, and not be afraid, because I was terrified. I was terrified. And so I went, and I dropped. It was about 12:30 in the afternoon, and there was cars in front, and they have a walk. The house has a walkway where you can't see the front who's at the porch. So I knew that I could go unseen if it was the right circumstance. And it seemed like everybody was already there. It's like 12:45, so they're probably in the middle of lunch, which is good. And so I just went, I was like shaking the whole time, and went up and dropped them off, and I could hear laughing,
You dropped the presents off?
on the front porch.
Okay. Okay.
And then and I could hear laughing, and tons of people. There was tons of cars there. So it was just a big old party, and oh, that was just so hard. But then I just left, and he emailed me something, and then said, or maybe I emailed him first about this, because I emailed him right when it was happening. Because about 2 weeks ago, I finally owned up to him and told him because he's like, why aren't you reaching out to the kids? What's going on? And so, anyways, I actually think he's going to help me with it. I actually know he is. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And for me,
That's nice.
and
Yeah.
for him, that's really good. I don't know in what capacity this is going to look like, but I can't do this anymore, Deborah. So, okay, for time, we're good. Talk to me. Love Will. He's awesome. Are you there? Would love to chat. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to respond. I don't know, but anyway. Then I screenshotted this because it's one of my calendar reminders of evidence of something with my daughter that happened before I left to help remind Jason. It was an example to use of how I'm different. Interesting. Then they send me this fake vaccination cards that are illegal. Here's how to report them. Okay, so that's a vaccination card.
Okay.
Just like the
Okay.
one I just told you about.
Oh.
And I'm like, why did you send that to me, universe? Would love to hear. Think you're pretty great, so help me. I know you got my back. And it says, I don't. I'm like, why not? You're the universe. You showed me many times I can trust you. How come I can't right now? Karma, I'm always watching. I'm like, okay, what do I need to clean up karma-wise? Because let's do it. I want to thank you, though, because you've helped me, Agent J. Are you Jarrett? And Jarrett's my old, I can't remember his position at Davis Behavioral.
Oh, the RSS guy.
Yeah. He did some really weird things and it made me suspicious of him a couple times, but then I trusted him. I loved him. So he felt really good. He did some things there at the office, I hear, that didn't make any sense. Because yeah, he told me like he would approve different things to be paid for by the company that didn't make sense. Like he even was going to pay for one of my healing sessions with my healer. But then I don't know, something weird happened. But so there, and then he'd text me sometimes and he'd be flirty with me. And then there was sometimes, and I said, do you go by Jay? Do you ever go by Jay? There was a couple, I wish I had those texts, but, and then he wouldn't respond. But it was just, there was something really weird. And then he actually, he pulled my unemployment up on the computer once. And that was when I saw that they were going to charge me for my third round of unemployment for not giving me my ID when I turned my ID in. So I had to deal with the government in this thing. There was just some really, and now I'm still dealing with the government. This is terrifying. I hate this. Hate it, hate it, hate it. So you got me right, universe. I'm always watching. Yeah, I know. And then I've experienced and felt you many times. You want to make things right, or is this all on me? Because I'm going to be done soon, yo. And then it says, tell me what you think needs to be made right and how you plan on being done soon. Just tell me what you see in me. And then it says, I need you to know. Oh, shaking. This is so scary.
Okay.
No, I'm just shaking. Tell me how you plan on being done soon. Just tell me what you see in me. I need to know how you see yourself. I'm really different, super different. I can't take it anymore. Can't do what anymore. Share with the universe. I need you to see me. Can you? Can you see yourself? Probably not. What can you not do anymore? Everything. What's my next step? What do you want to take a step towards? My kids. When you focus on that goal, it is a good outcome. Is it a good outcome for your kids, or is it just to make yourself feel better? I'm like, wow, good question. Both. We need to heal. What do you bring to their lives? I'm like, not much. Actually, I have nothing. And this was right after I left. right after I got back from the house dropping presents off. And it says, sometimes one's remedy of healing is not found within others, but within oneself. And I'm like, very true. I don't have the screenshot of, oh, your kids seem to be healing on their own just fine. Their family is finally whole. And I said, really? I'm just trembling. And you seem surprised. I'm like, yeah, I am. And then I don't have the rest of that thread, but I read it to the state president. And I'm like, because it says, you seem surprised. I'm like, yeah, I am. And then I said, things could have been different if you didn't fuck everything up. And then it says, I believe you are the ones you're the one. Oh, fuck everything up for the last 4 years. And it said, I believe you are the one who fucked everything up for yourself. And then it said, it's even longer than that, since the past 20 years. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I mean, I'm just,
suppose that is?
What?
Who do you suppose that is?
I have to think it's the government or a hacker. Those are the only two things. If no one pays a Geico account off, my Geico was just paid off. I called in. Who was the last person who paid this? Because I didn't pay it off. Well, yes, you paid it off. Your last payment of $67 made your account in full status, and your next your new policy will begin in September. And I'm like, okay, then who did? At that point, it wasn't just me anymore believing it. I couldn't just own it as a delusion, Deborah. I couldn't. So then then the other one is crazy, because then it texts, I decide to finally tell my brother and sister what's going on, what I believe, what's happening. You know, they've been concerned. I don't really talk to them very much at all. And after I'm like, I told them I'm going to court with a DUI. You know, DUI is a big, you know, they're like, oh my gosh. And of course it is. It's huge. It's huge. Like, I wouldn't do this. There's no way in hell I would ever do this, Deborah. I would not go to court on something like this. This is not who I am. I don't want to say these words.
Yeah, it sounds like you're being made to go to court.
Doesn't it though? But I have to tell you the rest of this, but I just need to read this part, and then I'm going to tell you one more thing. And we're
starting to run out of time. Just I know. You know. I'm sorry.
I know.
We'll put another appointment on. Okay. All right.
Okay. But okay, here it is. So the next day, I sent it. It says, why did you send this to me? Because I sent something. I was sending it to my sister. She wanted to know what number sent the text to me. Yeah, okay. I would like to finish my conversation with Jarrett. Can I get his number? What do you mean? Your friend Jarrett? Because she texted me saying, I just got this phone on Sunday. They texted me saying, who is this? And I'm something like that. I just got this phone on Sunday. It wasn't my, stop texting me or something. And I said, you texted me on Sunday. Who texted me then? She's like, I got this phone from as a Christmas gift from my friend Jarrett. And I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? You know? And so then I would like to talk to him. Why? You don't know him. We were both talking back and forth. He knows me. He's got to with our conversation. I think you've got him confused with another person, lady. I don't see how I could. I'm very confused. He didn't own the phone before me. He has had this number. He has had his number for the past 3 years. Why do you think he was texting you? Someone from this number was texting me the day before, and the day of you getting this phone on Sunday. Like I said before, I don't know who had this number before me. No one, maybe no one did. Someone did, otherwise I wouldn't have the text. So that doesn't make sense. Well, if you said it was from the universe, you said it was from the universe, so maybe that's it. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but it's still confusing. So, sure is B. And I said, the whole timeline is. And she said, this said timeline. And I said, B. If he had the number for 3 years, then that really doesn't make sense to me. Your friend Jared. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's where I was like, I'm talking to the state president. He's like, yeah, that's something right there. You know, and in 7-8 weeks, I've seen him 5 times. So, you know,
glad you're getting help from him.
He doesn't know. He can't really help church and state. So,
can he provide you with resources?
No, he wants me to prove this.
Oh.
He totally, like, he wants me to prove this. He's like, call Trooper Hess, because I want to call Trooper Hess and say, I believe you knew I was coming that night. That was and you already knew I was going to be on the road before I even left my house. That was what I was going with. I didn't even have these apps or this app thing then. Okay, Deborah. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out what this energy thing that's pulling me to the church, why the Leighton Temple is the only Leighton Moroni facing west. And he told me that after he asked me to say a prayer, and I said, yeah, but my prayer is going to be different. It was the second time I saw him. I was trying to figure out what all that was. I was sitting at the Comfort Inn, 30 seconds away from my house. I had some drinks, White Claws. I was going to go home. Comfort Inn's where I feel safe, and I don't know, just somewhere where I go and I sit. And I must have ended up driving. So I drove 2 streets down. I was parked. I faced the other way in somebody else's driveway. And I had gotten some scissors because I wear a wig, and I had gotten some scissors and to trim it up because I'm losing so much hair now. It's scary. I have been not wearing a wig, but it just feels so alien. It feels so hard. So I was going to trim it up because I had clients the next day. And so, and anyways, I hear this knock on the door. I open it up. There's police officers, and I was scared, and I was like, no, and I'm scared of them. Oh, someone banged on my trailer. I have so many people are messing with me. Someone banged 3 times on my trailer. The guy that was here ran out, and anyways, so I'm scared of the police. I told them not to come on the property when I called them because I'm scared of them. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, they pepper sprayed me. They handcuffed me, and I'm disoriented. I don't know what is happening.
How old are you when this happened?
I was 2 streets down from my house.
Why?
Okay, yeah. So I'm completely I myself am backwards, and I try and so it's just very interesting that. So anyways, I'm being pushed down, this driveway, and I'm looking around, and my eyes are burning. Then I'm like, hold on, please, let me stop so I can just understand and just look around so I understand what really is going on, please. And yeah, so I stopped, I looked around, I'm like, okay, you're right, I'm not where I thought I was. Not where I thought I was. Hold on. There was cops everywhere. I'm like, okay, let me just breathe, please. Just let me take a breath. Let me calm down. And then I'm like, okay. And so they were going to put me in the cop car, but then a medic came, an ambulance came, and I don't really remember. I couldn't see by them. They checked me out. And then I went to the precinct or whatever. When I was in the car, the officer was telling another officer, yeah, she had the scissors. She lunged for us with the scissors. And I'm like, I did? I'm like, I don't remember that. When I was in, after they'd gone in, you know, I'm terrified. I went in, and in that holding area or whatever, the lady jailer brings me a bag. Here are your belongings. And I'm like, okay. I open this bag. I need to send you a picture. I'll send you a picture. Actually, can I send you a picture? No, Deborah, listen, I know, but Deborah, it was a pop socket. They left when I got my, hold on, please. When I got my car back, my marijuana vape was on the ground in the floorboard of my car.
Yeah.
And this bag that had a pop socket, two things that they took out of my glove compartment here, how messy it is. And then a pop socket, and then a folded blue Visa card application was in the bag that the jailer handed me. And I said, why are these here? This is so weird. They're messing with me. They want me to go to court? Really? And prove, and then I didn't get charged with marijuana. But my marijuana bag was gone. My marijuana bag and my phone was missing. They took my marijuana bag, I always have it with me, and left my pipe. I was already going to prove that I believe this. Deborah, you got to know that. Thank you for listening. Whew.
You're welcome. And I'm sorry, I'm out of time. I just have another meeting in 7 minutes.
I know you do.
Can we put another appointment on the books? I have some time. I'm all booked for next week. The following week, I have lots of time available. Yeah. I can meet you at 11 o'clock on Thursday the 26th. Would that work?
No, Thursdays actually don't work because I actually have a client.
How about Tuesday? 1, 2, or 3?
Let me look at my schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then, but I'm just so glad that I was able to get all that out. Oh,
okay. All right.
Because now you'll understand. You have to understand and see it. Otherwise, I can't do it alone, Deborah. So thank you.
In there, will you text me then? I also have Wednesday the 25th.
Yeah. And I'm gonna text you. A couple days. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not doing this alone. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
See you later. Bye.